welcome to Critical Hit, a Major Spoilers podcast. Thank you so much for downloading and checking us out last time.
On Critical Hit?
Yeah, on Critical Hit. Yeah, definitely. I'm not feeling too good about what happened.
Mm-hmm. What did happen?
We were engulfed by the Snorplek.
Mm-hmm. Good question.
Yeah,
the usual question. Rodrigo/Brian shenanigans.
I guess.
We have established that everybody's playing to type in this game, so
it is definitely Brian's fault that we're stuck in this.
Way to go, Brian.
How the heck if I come out of this losing an arm?
We'll charge somebody else the arm this time. Okay, well, let's go ahead and pick up with bandwidth. So bandwidth is engulfed by this strange jittery mist that the Snorplek generates. And as this happens, possibly because this is just how it is, like how the mist is, but also because bandwidth had his systems tuned to find it, immediately his entire system kind of goes haywire because of the sudden surge. It's like, hey, I'm looking for this type of wave or radiation or something, and it's like, well, there's so much of it that it just kind of shorts the system. So bandwidth's mech is kind of starts going haywire, which mostly just means that it kind of like jitters in place. It's not like running around or firing its weapons or anything. There are safeties for that, so mostly it just kind of has to be reset. But the camera, like the visual systems, the systems that capture things in visual light, are still working, and bandwidth can see outside into this mist, and he begins to see a figure approach.
Hello, able to hear me? Do I got radio connection? Who's there?
You do seem to be broadcasting, so you can actually send radio out. As this figure approaches, it's like, first off, it's like size 1 mech, so it's like 15 feet tall, or around there. And pretty quickly, bandwidth can see that this mech is, well, first off, a mech, second, a humanoid mech, and third, kind of messed up. It has very thin sort of arms and legs and musculature. It is just like rusted to heck. Has a lot of like reddish and gray sort of splotching throughout it. It's got some like actual just straight up holes through it. It is like barely wrapped in some sort of like cloth, and the like faceplate is really gnarled and messed up. When you transmit something, you open the radio to hear back, and you just mostly hear like the Snorplek noise, like the noise that this kind of fog seems to make, which is kind of like sounds kind of like slightly echoey, like kind of cicadas, like the sort of sound that cicadas make. That kind of like something like that. That's kind of the noise that it seems to make while being inside. This mech does not respond, or does not seem to respond. Continues to approach you, and as it does, it extends a hand, like a gnarly manipulator, towards you. It is kind of shambly as it gets closer to your mech.
I don't really got manipulator arms, but maybe I'll try to reach out a foot if I got any controls back
Yeah,
up.
controls are not back up. You kind of can twitch your mech towards it. Once it's close enough that you can see it clearly, you can also see that something about it is changing. In fact, as it gets closer to you, it seems to get kind of cleaner. The splotching and rusting starts to go away, and the holes seem to close. The patterned sort of cloth around it becomes like a proper kind of like cloth adornment. And as the faceplate sort of rights itself, you see it also kind of repairs a sort of crest at the front of it. And as sort of all of these changes happen, you now recognize it as Amplitude's mech.
Amplitude, can you hear me? Ozan.
The mech continues to move towards you, continues to reach out until finally it puts a hand on your mech and then shoves it really hard. So hard, in fact, that you kind of tumble like head over feet. But the moment that your mech rights itself, you look around and all of your systems appear to be operational once again.
Oh, hey, hello?
When you look up and start looking around, you realize that you no longer seem to be within the fog field. Yep, within that field. You're in fact in a different field, like a normal, like sort of grassy field. There's some snow on the ground, and you don't see any like civilization anywhere close. So you're really seem to be pretty far out in the boonies. As you, again, sort of as your systems are booting up, your sort of connection to headquarters kind of reboots, and you hear Kimber's voice going, bandwidth, anybody, hello, check, bandwidth, are you there?
Yes, bandwidth, my copy.
Wait, really?
Yes, how long have I been gone?
Holy crap, guys, I found him. Just stay where you are. We'll come get you.
Affirmative.
So,
kind of hunker down.
Yeah, gotta hunker down, like kind of stealth up.
Yeah, let my mech do the invisible thing, and I don't know, maybe try to figure out where exactly I am.
Yeah, after a little while, you can figure out where you are. If you look at the map, you are like up here somewhere. So you're at the pretty close to the far north of the northern side of the central kind of continent, that basically the imperial continent. So, way off over there, that there's like a couple major cities.
At least I emerged on land, I suppose.
So, after a little while, the heavy shuttle comes by, and they get your mech inside, lock it in, and then the heavy shuttle, it's Captain Nicholas Buckendorf and Kimber, and we'll say Duari are all there, and they're like kind of get your mech set up. They kind of check you to see if you're like physically okay, and then they just kind of get you in, and the shuttle takes off. On the way back, you hear some alarms that go away fairly quickly from the shuttle. and then you get outside of the atmosphere, make the trek back to the moon base. Do you want to say anything or talk to these guys while you're in transit?
Yeah, I'll just kind of ask again. So, how long have y'all been looking for me?
You've been gone for about 4 weeks.
Wow. You've been broadcasting for me that whole time?
Yeah, we've been taking turns.
Surprised you just didn't set up some sort of automated loop.
Well, Kimber's like, I wanted Absap to do it because he can do it. He can just partition himself and do that. But
Yeah.
Bisk thought that it might be stressful for him since you guys have like a budding friendship for him to be doing that all the time. So yeah, we've just been. I mean, have I been at the radio the whole time that I was supposed to be there?
Well, the important thing was that someone was when it mattered.
Yeah, exactly. See?
And again, I guess I came back, nowhere hazardous, so I probably would have been able to reach out otherwise had I not received any such signal.
Yeah, at least you came out in dry land.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, wow. Have to try to figure out what exactly happened there. Were we able to secure the Snorplek?
Oh yeah. Yeah, the those guys with the faces?
The Ogren?
Yeah, those guys. They have the Snorplek now. They've got it like locked up in their vault.
Okay, that's probably good.
Yeah, they said that we can come look at it whenever, but we've been having some issues.
Mm-hmm. Well, I guess I can get fully debriefed once we get back moonside.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I just kind of try to relax a bit until we get there.
Okay. So, the trip takes a little while, but eventually you get back to the base. When you get there, pretty much everybody is kind of there to greet you, with the possible exception of any PCs who decide that they don't want to be there to greet you. And it seems that Impact is still out. But yeah, you got a lot of like, hey, welcome back.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks for the ride. Glad to be back.
Told you you'd be back. So, only been a moment for you?
Yeah, it's only a brief moment of time. I've been told I've been gone 4 weeks.
Yeah. It seemed the further we were away from the center of the Snorplek, the longer it took us to arrive back. But either way, it seems like each of us was, from our perspective, just there and then somewhere else instantly.
So did everyone get zapped then?
Yep.
Oh, be interested to see the mission log on this one.
Yeah.
Chameleon pops its head around the corner. You still have to write it.
I see, really? No one got around to that in 4 weeks?
I'm going with Dr. B's has been writing it for 4 weeks and hasn't turned it in because he hasn't had the final piece of information. At which point he's going to brush past you. He clearly hasn't shaved in 4 weeks and smells like he may have also not showered in that 4 weeks. And is checking out your mech for further information.
Okay, well, I guess send me what you got done so far and I can finish it up. Maybe hit the showers there, Dr. Bees?
Once I figure this out.
Fair. I can understand that.
Yeah, we're glad you finally showed up, if for no other reason.
I mean, I guess me too. I'm glad everyone else made it through all right.
Oh, right. Good to see you again.
Yeah, you too, man. Everything been quiet around here otherwise?
Yeah, more or less.
Sort of. We'll go ahead and debrief everyone after you've had a little bit of time back.
All right. Yeah, I guess just let me know when.
Everybody disperses, although you definitely get a no ifs, ands, of buts sort of message from the clinic that you are to like come in for a physical.
Sounds fair. All right, I'm gonna go see the doc.
All right, when you get there, Dr. Mondragon is there. She checks you out, asks you a bunch of questions, like take some blood samples, but mostly she's like, how do you feel?
I mean, feel pretty all right. I mean, a bit tired. By my reckoning, I pretty much just directly came off the mission, so just yeah, ready to wrap it up and hopefully get a little bit of rest before something else blows up.
Well, you seem to be doing well. Unfortunately, for those of us that spend a lot of time in space, missing time kind of becomes a thing that happens. So
Yeah.
I'm glad that you don't seem to have any psychological issues dealing with it. Did anything happen while this happened? Did you see anything?
Oh, yeah. I saw someone that, was a lost member of my far field team. Kind of part of the reason why I ended up coming to this planet.
Well, that's distressing, actually.
Yeah, it's a bit concerning. Yeah, it's kind of why I'm interested to see what the other people's experiences were, if this is at all a shared experience, or see, like, if maybe this is some sort of legitimate contact, or I don't know. I'm just quite curious.
Well, we'll figure it out in the briefing.
Yeah. Well, I guess until that happens, I'm gonna go put my feet up.
Yeah, get some rest.
Yeah.
Just as a note, among the people there was Bisk. He seems to be here, like, checking up on AppSab. So he's around too, or if anybody wants to talk to him.
Probably talk to him later.
Sure. Just putting that out there. So eventually everybody gets a message for when the meeting's going to be.
All right. I'll set an alarm.
Just a few hours after.
Yeah. So yeah, I'll probably just take a quick shower and set an alarm just a little bit before that, and see if I can't get a little nap in.
Okay. Yeah, it's not too hard to fall asleep at this point. Weird dreams, though.
I could imagine.
But eventually your alarm goes off.
Okay. All right. All right. I'll be there. One moment. He says into no one in particular.
All right. So pretty much everybody, like all pilots, are supposed to be at the meeting. So I'm guessing everybody goes to the meeting again, except for Impact, who's not here right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be there early.
Okay.
Chameleon kind of comes in just as the meeting is about to start. And he's got like dark circles under his eyes.
Anything unusual about Tucson?
He might look like a little bit more focused or intense than he has before. But otherwise, like, dress and demeanor seems to be otherwise the same.
Once everybody is there, does Dr. B look different? Has he showered and shaved since, or is he still working on it?
He's still working on it. He does look like he has cleaned up a little bit.
Okay.
After he turned in the report, but that report was turned in 10 minutes ago.
Sure.
So it's more of a I'm ripe, and extra deodorant splash of cleaning to the face before heading to the meeting.
So the pilots are there, Ingrid and Red Iron are there, and actually we'll say that all of the engineers are also there. You gather pretty quickly that it's not because they want or not because they had to be there, but because they're all like curious about what's happening. And Captain Buckendorf is also there, which makes the only person not at the meeting the doctor, who presumably doesn't have to be at the meeting. So Ingrid says, "All right, welcome back."
Thank you.
And with it's good to see you again. We were a little worried there for a bit. After the incident with the Snorplek, we had everybody very scattered. Don't know where or exactly what happened, but we sort of started finding Snorplek readings throughout the planet for the past few weeks. Some of them turned out to be you guys. Some of them turned out to be enemy mechs, and we think a lot of these are just like things that were in that facility, just like crates and paint cans and stuff that have been popping up throughout the planet. And she pulls up a map, like a sphere, like a globe of Infanzon, and it starts to get populated with little dots, and it is like covered in dots just throughout the entirety of it. The dots do cluster around certain places, but pretty much every region is more or less equally represented. And there are plenty of dots that are just like in the middle of the ocean. Perhaps the most surprising thing is that we haven't detected anything outside of Infanzon. So the whatever effect happens seems to either only extend as far as the planet or possibly is purposely focused on the planet, because also we didn't have anybody appear, say, 500 feet above the ground.
That would have been exciting.
Yeah.
Our friends at the Mystery of the Ogrins are now holding the Snorplek in their vault. They said that we can come down and look at it anytime, but that it's sort of in a dormant state. Because things keep appearing that were there, it's essentially nullified our ability to take readings of these within these frequencies. So we're kind of blind to whatever's going on. I think we're going to have to wait until the last vending machines and barrels and mech replacement parts appear until we can really push forward with figuring out what exactly the Snorplek is, how the Steel Thatch was using it, and how it all works and how it all ties back to our mission. Does anyone have anything they want to bring up regarding the last mission and what happened?
This seems like a very dangerous weapon to be in the hands of those idiots.
Yeah, I agree.
How did they even get a hold of one?
Well,
or whatever.
Our current theory is as follows. More than a century ago, the empire of over Infanzon was run by the castles, right? So they had a sort of a system of nobility, and they were. I guess I should dial it back even further. This this artifact comes from a time even before that, to what they call the Oxbow Empire, which had some huge and frankly fantastical seeming technological advances. A lot of those advances were lost when the next empire, when they transitioned into the next empire. So the next empire probably had control of the Snorplek. And then when they were overthrown, the Snorplek either got put into a facility and forgotten, or the new empire, the Magellanics, didn't realize what they had. So it was in this decommissioned facility, and then when the steel thatch moved in, they found it.
They just kind of stumbled across it in storage.
That's our theory right now. And
So
of
there's
course,
probably more of these.
I mean, I don't know if there are more of these. If by that you mean Snorplex, but
Yeah.
there could certainly be more artifacts from this empire that are still around that people either don't know where or what they are, or are just sitting dormant somewhere in a vault, or not in a vault, just like in a closet somewhere, if they don't know what they're looking at.
Do we know if is it alive? Is it something that we can communicate with?
We don't think so. It's some sort of machine, but we don't really understand what it's doing and how it works. She'll motion to the engineers. Chia will stand up and say, we've been analyzing it, but we've been running into some issues because we've done some 2D modeling of the waveforms that it creates, and then we did some 3D modeling of it. But we're worried that if we theoretically expand that into other dimensional readings, that we'll just be recreating it. Essentially, like if we make a replica of it in that is like good enough, it'll just be an active Snorplek. And we don't want to just do that willy-nilly. So we're taking it slow. And unfortunately, aside from the fact that it's giving us a wealth of readings, it's very difficult to do anything about it with all the noise that it's created as it essentially continues to actively drop junk all over the planet. No offense. I meant, after you guys.
Yeah, sure. So I've been doing some of my own research.
Okay. This is Ingrid again. Okay.
Does the name Instinct mean anything to anybody?
Kimber like looks left, looks right, and then like kind of averts her gaze and keeps looking forward. Like, does that mean anything to anybody? But nobody else seems to respond unless any of the players are responding. No. Okay.
All I know is that there's this. You said you didn't think that this was a living entity, and I've been trying to figure out what it was that we encountered, and I came across some stuff on the OmniNet that talked about a data entity that they call Instinct that was unleashed, and that Union may be using it, and I don't know if that's the same thing or not.
Ingrid says, I don't think so. I don't see why something like that would be here and now. Infanzon has had limited contact with Union, but I guess that's something we can look into.
Okay. Just, asking questions.
Sure. Anyone else?
I mean, I don't know how applicable it is to the debriefing here. I mean, I am curious to hear the others' experiences going through that event.
Dr. Beast came back first.
I was gone for about 22 hours. Felt like a blink of an eye.
Did you see anything within the mist?
No, once I was fully enveloped, next thing I know was at the bottom of a lake.
I see.
Yeah, I came back 4 days after the event. Again, the fog swept across us. I was trying to call out to you guys, and the next thing I know, I'm calling out to you guys on top of a mountain. And 4 days had passed, like the blink of an eye. Like that's just not normal. None of this is normal. You guys understand that, right?
Yeah, but
I mean, I can understand having tentacles in your mech. I can understand how railguns work. I can understand slowly starting to understand how this interface works and how we can have all of these biomechanical bits inside of us. But this thing does not make sense.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Union folks, but don't you have devices that can transport folk here halfway across the galaxy, and there is sometimes some kind of time dilation involved in the process?
It's two separate things, Ingrid says. We have blink gates. Those are stationary things that can basically transport anything from one blink gate to any other blink gate. That's how we do most of our traveling within the core of Union. Other than that, we just have normal hyperpropulsion ships that can approach sea and thus get places, quote unquote, relatively quick, although it can still take decades to reach certain places, maybe more. It is my understanding that we don't fully understand how the blink works. But, and she kind of motions at the engineers, this isn't like that, right? And they all kind of shake their head and they're like, no, we have systems to recognize if something is blink technology, and this isn't that, this is something else.
Huh.
So if you're saying we should be used to this, I mean, a lot of us have seen some stuff out there. But I think a certain level of chameleon's seriousness about the subject is called for. We don't know what this is, and we don't know why it's happening, why it happened, and why it activated here and now. So, and why it's localized to the planet. Once you start, and she kind of again motions to the engineers, correct me if I'm wrong. Once you start dealing with the polydimensional stuff, there's nothing saying that like space almost becomes as immaterial as time. So we don't know why you weren't teleported light years away, or why you didn't come back 100 years in the future. Although who knows, maybe we'll still be getting cans and desks and chairs raining down into the future.
There's no record of any of this frequencies happening before on planet, before this incident?
She looks at bandwidth and says, not on this planet.
Wait. But you've seen it before on other planets?
Yeah, I've definitely seen phenomena much like it. As you may or may not know, I was part of a far field team, exploring and surveying various planets for potential terraforming and settlement. There's one GLBRT 39882 that seemed to be a real promising candidate, but shortly after we touched down there, we kind of was assaulted by a very similar phenomena. It was pretty hard getting, back off that planet. And
You say assaulted? Like
well,
there was a guiding purpose behind it, or like more of a
not.
natural?
I mean, I don't know if natural is really a term you can put for it, but assaulted is maybe a bit too flavorful language. No, just very much a harrowing experience, but I don't know that anything particularly seemed directed.
Could have been some sort of automated system then?
We never really located any sort of source to this. I mean, we just kind of assumed maybe it was naturally occurring phenomena that we didn't yet understand. We basically had to anchor ourselves basically in reality. And that's how largely I was able to set up the equipment to kind of detect this emissions, especially once I saw similar things happening on the haunted island. I was able to kind of apply that technology, and the fact that I was able to detect it does seem to be like, at least it's a similar effect, if not directly related.
Oh. What empire did you say this Snorplek was from?
They call it the Oxbow Empire. So she like motions to Captain Buckendorf. Correct me if I'm wrong. Our primary infants on amateur historian, and he looks proud and he like kind of waves. But there was the Oxbow Empire, then there was the Cathedraic Empire, and that time is when the nobility and the mystery of the Ogrons were the dominant force in the empire, and they were overthrown by the Magellanics. So we're talking 2 empires ago, which has been hundreds of years, maybe close to 1,000 altogether. If we're talking about like the initial times of the Oxbow Empire.
Well, let's hope we don't run into any more of this kind of technology in the wrong hands.
Yeah, agreed.
Well, you've run into it twice, so there's a good chance we're going to run into this again. And we might. That's what I'm afraid of. What happened the last time that you encountered? What happened? Did you appear on the same planet? Time dilation?
Yeah, we never left the planet, but I say it was quite the work to regather the crew and kind of make a little stabilization field against the effect to basically get that synced up with getting a rescue signal out. And yeah, like I say, it's not the most pleasant of experience, but
No, it's not.
And not everybody made it back that time.
Nope. But we did lose a man. Kind of brings me back to what I was asking earlier. And anyone else, when you were in the fog, did you see anything? Anyone in there?
No.
From my perspective, it was darn near instantaneous.
I take it you mean that you did?
Yeah. I saw pretty dilapidated looking mech that, as it approached me, it seemed to regain some cohesion, and it seemed to be impact and
not impact.
Sorry, not impact. Sorry, it seemed to be amplitude. My missing crewmate, who pretty much pushed me out. That's where I found myself back on Infants On.
Huh.
Have we picked up any of the enemy pilots that went through this?
We haven't, because we've only picked you up. As you might recall, it's actually, a lot of things have to line up for us to be able to do a mission. Because of the Empire's or because of the Magellanic's defense system. So we can't just fly wherever on the planet. It's pretty difficult. Just to pick up bandwidth today, we have to have the Alahamael kind of do some maneuvers to potentially block some just some missile fire, some like automated defenses. So we haven't been able to recover any of the people that were taken by the Snorplek. The Ogrins, the mystery of the Ogrins priests did not mention if they had captured anyone. But I suppose I can ask. So if any of those pilots have made it back, and we know some of their mechs made it back, but if any of the pilots made it back, they were kind of on their own and may have gotten picked up by someone else.
We've been tracking all of the signals for everything coming back, obviously. Have we seen anything not land? Have we seen anything deposited in the air?
No. At least not very far up in the air.
There's been some stuff above the surface, but
I mean, like feet, like in the maybe double digits tops. Everything else seems to pretty much appear on the ground.
did we notice anything buried when it came back?
It doesn't look like it, although it apparently seems to ignore the sea level. So
Learned that one firsthand.
yeah, we believe most of the stuff that has appeared in the ocean has appeared close to the bottom of the ocean.
Have we accounted for every mech that was there yet?
No, we can get readings on basically the bursts of when something comes back.
Not what the something is.
Not exactly what the something is. We've been able to, shoot a laser, get a reading here and there, corroborate with, eyewitness accounts and stuff in places that we've tapped or bugged, or, some of our other allies on the planet can confirm certain things, but we don't have a very good scope on what exactly it is that's happening. We do know that a few mechs have made it back above ground, but we don't even know if the pilots made it back and why, right? Just, it could be the pilots didn't make it back. We just don't know. Could be the pilots didn't make it back because something happened to them within the Snorplek. Or it could be the pilots didn't make it back because they got killed before the Snorplek, in the fight before the Snorplek got them. So there's a lot of questions regarding what all happened to everybody else. But because all of your stories sync up with some additional weirdness from bandwidth, I suspect that any living pilot probably just got transported somewhere else within their mech, and or will be transported somewhere else within their mech here in the future. Because every burst is an individual thing, we've tried to do some estimates. We believe that the absolute maximum number of bursts should happen within the next month or so. So it shouldn't be much longer that we are sort of tied up as to what we can take readings of because of the bursts.
We know if the Snorplek's been activated before that day?
The Ogranites believe that it had back when it was created, and that whenever that was, probably was used as intended, rather than I think the Steel Thatch just thought they had a strange teleporting machine in their hands, although the Snorplek is much more than that. But we don't know what exactly it is or what its original purpose was. So yes, we believe it has been activated back when its purpose was known by an empire whose records have been lost because of the usual reason of why Empire records are lost, right? Another empire takes over, destroys as much as possible to prevent some sort of lineage or line of succession or outside knowledge of how any of this can work.
Do we have any reason to believe the steel thatch had activated before that day?
Yes, the steel thatch. Oh, before that day, not before Haunted Island, although we do believe that they probably tried it out. They at least figured out how to measure the distance that it could send someone. They must have figured out how it worked, or one of the ways that it could work. And it's honestly kind of amazing that they managed to do it as precisely as they did.
Anyone have the contact for a good salvage crew?
Sure. What are you thinking?
If we can find anything with sensors or any storage, they may have information.
You mean if we can find another mech?
Another mech, one of their mechs, any of their computers, if the Snorplek sent that away, it's something that was, you said there's been bits and bobs popping up as well as mechs, right?
That's right.
So, as far as we can tell, is basically anything that wasn't nailed down.
That's right. And some stuff maybe that was.
So if the computer that controlled the machine got teleported and we can find that, that would be the single luckiest break we've ever had.
Okay. Why don't you get with the engineering team and try to figure out if there's a way, if we can figure out if that has happened and where. Any other comments or questions?
Not for me.
All right. Well, we'll adjourn the meeting once again. Bandwidth, good to have you back. Good to have all of you back. And of course, my door is always open. Come find me if you need anything. And Dr. Bees, once you have something, let us know, and we'll try to get you some resources.
Sounds good.
Okay. Meeting breaks up. The engineers kind of stay where they are and start like whipping out their tablets and stuff and look like they're good to just get started right then and there. We'll cover the nerds, but before that, does anybody leave the meeting? What do you do?
I'm going to go back to my room. I've got some more research to conduct on the OmniNet, mainly because I've never had this kind of open access before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is a good point. Bandwidth, some of the stuff that he was saying might seem slightly worrisome to you, not because it's bad, but because there are some rabbit holes out there that can be dangerous, especially if certain organizations are aware that he's looking for certain stuff. So you might think about giving him some guidance or not. It's up to you. Obviously, you can decide what to do. If you want to stay with the nerds, you can stay with the nerds.
Oh, actually, I kind of wanted to go check some things on my mech.
Okay.
Let's see. Is there any chance that it would have been recording any data while I was within the fog?
Sure.
All right. Well, I'd try to see that data, see if perhaps there's any visual recording.
Okay. All right. You sit down to start watching the visual recording, and all you see is kind of this fog. And then after a little while, you're like, wait a minute, like you were only there for like a few minutes, but like this recording goes on and on. So once you kind of stop and look at the file itself, you see that there's about 8 hours of recording, even though, and it all seems to be within the Snorplek, even though you were only there for a few minutes.
Yeah, well, I'd download this to a local computer and see what I can do to scrub through and analyze and see what I can determine.
What about Tucson?
I think most of this is a little beyond Tucson, so in light of the fact that it's probably going to involve a mission at some point, he's going to go do some practice. And specifically, he is trying to throw a like javelin. He is practicing with throwing stuff in sort of an area of the hangar that's empty of people, so he doesn't accidentally impale anybody.
Sure. You can also do it outside.
That might be a better idea.
Yeah. Okay. Tucson goes out and practices for chameleon. Like you're looking around and it's like, looking for like reports of strange energy sources and like space-time dilations.
Mm-hmm.
You get somebody with an article that's like NHPs are the most dangerous thing out there.
What's this? Clickety clack, click, click. Read more.
If an NHP cascades for long enough, they will invert their casket and turn into something known as an eidolon, which can be an extremely powerful thing. I know this because I've experienced it firsthand. I was on a mission in like a redacted planet. I can't tell you because then they'll find me.
Oh.
Anyway, an NHP there had been cascading for almost 90 years. Blah, blah, blah. And just kind of just goes on with like the story. And then that the NHP kind of turned into like a wormhole.
Huh.
But that, stuff that went into the wormhole didn't come back out before it just kind of disappeared.
This is interesting. Do we know how long Abzab was cascading?
I think he was cascading for about 50 years.
Oh, boy.
Well, so he was abandoned about 50 years ago. So assuming he wasn't cascading right away, it's slightly less than 50 years, but probably close.
Okay. I will put this into some kind of I'll put this on my data tablet and I'll put it on one that's like in an incognito mode. So when no one knows that I'm looking at it.
You can encrypt it. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I will go and find, bandwidth.
Okay. Bandwidth is doing that thing where he's like looking at a screen and he's got like a little shuttle
knob,
and he's just like dialing it back, watching it again, dialing it back, watching it again.
Hey, bandwidth.
Huh. Yeah. Hey, Chameleon.
What are you doing?
Oh, just right now, kind of hoping I can find anything that my mech recorded that would correspond to what I thought I saw in there.
Huh. I guess I didn't think of looking to see if my mech recorded anything.
You might
need to look
check
at that later.
Yeah, definitely seemed to record far more than the time I, remember experiencing in there. So it's very possible that even those of you that didn't seem to be in there long may still have something on your mech. So could be worth checking into. I might have to look into everyone's if they're amenable.
What do you know about NHPs?
NHPs? I mean, I don't know. I have like too strong of like academic knowledge on them or anything.
Well, I mean, you're not from Infants On, so you have access to more of the OmniNet than what we have on planet. Have you ever heard of an NHP cascading and turning into like a wormhole? Here, read this. And I handed my data pad that has the encrypted screed of whoever this guy was.
Say if an NHP cascades for long enough, they may turn their casket inside out, unleashing a strange entity known as an eidolon. Blah, blah, blah. Through a wormhole and then disappeared. And, lots of comments that are like, can you believe they just have these things in every city? It's like, it's not just that, man. They like load these up on mechs and they go fight in the front lines. And they're like absolutely the most dangerous thing, not to the enemy, but to us, the consumer.
Have you ever heard of this? I mean, I get real close and whisper. Absab was kind of cascading when we saw him.
Yeah, that's. I mean, if you really want to talk to someone that knows about this stuff, you should maybe speak with Bisk, but I don't know. I'd put a lot of stock into this information.
Why is that? I mean, the guy says he's seen this stuff before.
I mean, there's a lot of people say they've seen all kinds of things when it's on the OmniNet. You just, got to be careful not to fall into too deep a conspiracy rabbit hole.
Oh, I don't think it's a conspiracy.
I'm afraid that the person that made that thinks it is. Once you start thinking that everything's a conspiracy, it can get dangerous. Much like the steel thatch we, confronted earlier. They think, this. They got ideas about conspiracies on, being substituted and genetically, so it can lead to some, not good thinking. It can be kind of dangerous.
All right. Well, I'm going to still kind of poke around some more because Absab still says weird things.
Well, when you got a different perspective than other beings, it can be kind of hard to communicate fully sometimes.
You don't believe any of these stories?
I mean,
he's got a bunch of stories in there in his pad.
Yeah, like, you guys talked me into putting this brain implant in, and now I'm finding out that SSC might have something that, can do stuff. Time-space bending stuff. I want them doing time-space bending stuff with my head.
Well, you got to worry about that. If they can do some time-space bending stuff, I'm sure they'll offer it at a great value to you.
I don't know.
That is in fact what it says on there. It says that they've applied it to some of their mechs.
So, and if that's something you're interested in, you can continue to check through their licenses as they become available, but I don't think they're going to do anything untoward without express written and verbal permission.
Oh, here's one on his pad that is just correct. It says that Mars used to have 2 moons, but now it only has 1 moon. That is true. and it did disappear in some sort of weird incident. That's history.
Yeah.
My eyes just narrowed down to a squint while I look at him as he's dismissing all of these factual things that I have found. Okay. All right.
Yeah. Like I said, I'd probably, suggest talking to Bisk. He has good academic knowledge when it actually comes to this stuff. He might be able to better let you know what's, solid and what's not.
You've traveled a lot more, so I figured you would have seen stuff.
You kind of heard like what kind of things I've seen.
Yeah, no, and that's why I think we got to take some of this stuff a little bit more seriously.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have any reason to believe that what I experienced is related to NHPs in any way. But yeah, like I say, I mean, just don't, use caution with what you look into. Take things with a grain of salt.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks for that. And I'm slowly starting to back away to the entrance. I'm gonna go check my mech for recordings.
All right.
I'll see you later.
Yeah.
I guess I go and check my mech for recordings.
All right, you go check your mech for recordings. It says cache has been cleared.
By who?
By engineering 2.
All right, I'll go over to engineering 2.
You go over to engineering and look for spot 2. You arrive at Sood's desk.
Is Sood there?
Nope. He's in the conference room with Dr. Bees.
Is any of his stuff
all kinds of
up?
stuff is there.
Anything opened up? Anything?
You can. His terminal is like on standby, so you can try to get into it if you want it.
Sure, I'll try to get into it.
All right. You want to give me a skill check?
Sure. All right. So
You would just be making a D20 roll, and trying to get a 10.
a 4.
Yep. So the thing about hacking is that contrary to what the movies I believe, most hacking is about finding like exploits, backdoors, about like literally just finding somebody's password and then just using it.
Yeah, look around for some sticky notes.
Yeah, so he doesn't have anything like that. His terminal is locked.
This guy's good.
Yeah, and there's just kind of nowhere for you from this terminal to like get in there. Like maybe if you had access to some sort of like master like account or something like that, or something similar, or just get his account details. But right now there's nothing you can do on like a blank screen that says welcome and just ask for a password when you like try to open it.
Okay. Mentally I mark down, keep an extra eye on Sood. And then I scurry back to my room.
Okay.
Constantly looking over my shoulder the entire time.
Tucson. You get briefly strafed.
Some of the moon makeshift mechs are still out here.
They're still out there. They don't get too close, but you do like briefly. They like briefly get in like within their range, and 2 aces that are flying by shoot some rockets at you, but they don't hit you. They just kind of shooting in your general direction, and then they just continue on their way.
Yeah, it's hard to hit them anyway. All right, well, that was fun enough for one day. I'll head back inside.
Yeah, so meanwhile, Dr. Bees and the engineers, how are you sort of moving through this for Dr. Bees?
Gathering up any information we had from our scanners, sensors, etc. on the mechs. Grabbing the video from the day of, because I assume it would have been stored after it was cleared off the mechs.
Yes, it absolutely is, and it's readily available.
Yeah. Great. Rob knows he's going to be working with a crazy person.
It's not crazy if it's true.
Also in the game.
Yep.
Yeah, so first thing, just wanting to go through all of the background information we had to see what size of things we'd be looking for, what we've seen, what we could have documented in the building that might be, especially anything that was directly under where the Snorplek activated from. And if we can track down any of the signals we've gotten for, is there a size difference or an intensity difference with any of the signals that we've had? Like if when the mechs came back, was that a bigger signal than when, like, say, a random vending machine popped out?
There are subtle differences. It is slightly easier to track stuff like the mechs and vehicles because these guys happen to at all times have their channels open. So there are like kind of corresponding radio bursts to the mechs and to like the those little drones and stuff, because they had to be connected to some sort of thing. So they're also like basically pop out and immediately start looking for the Ethernet. Not really, but they start looking for a network. So stuff like that becomes a little bit easier to track once you start layering it on top of each other. So possibly if you can get a hold of one of those mechs, you might be able to then use it to like figure out what all was on the network. And if there is something like that computer that you're hoping to find that wasn't networked in, or that, at least had some contact with the mechs.
All right. I want to focus on the stuff that was. I want to focus in on the stuff that was dropped into the ocean, because I feel like salvaging stuff in unpatrolled waters is going to be easier than trying to find something that showed up in the middle of Mohan Garden.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, you can actually find a couple promising dots, which are, miles away from each other, but not hundreds of miles away from each other.
What are regions, areas that are going to be friendly to us?
Okay. You see the map?
Yep.
Okay. So the map of Infanzon, which I'm describing here for our podcast listeners, has two polar areas. Not much going on there. They're very cold. It has a big chain of actually it has several wonky looking islands, but a sort of cluster of very large, basically small continent type islands on the north western side, called Kievud and Zancabria. Those places are occupied except for the mountain range in Zancabria itself, which is where the Zancabrians are hiding. Down on the south, there's Bendesa, which is another continent which is shaped in a weird way and seems to be like purposefully shaped that way, like maybe some sort of like terraforming thing happened there. That place is also occupied. There's Haunted Island, which you guys have been to, which is friendly. There's then on the top, or at the northeast, there's an archipelago called Cat Island. There's an island called Cat Island, but also the archipelago itself is generally referred to that. That place is also friendly to you. Basically, Zancabria and Cat Island are the only remaining sovereign states that are not occupied or completely taken over by the Empire. Lastly, in the middle, there's a big continent that has kind of like a top bulb and a bottom bulb separated by a desert in the middle. That's the Zarnak Desert, which is where the Pyolimians live. That place is friendly, ... question mark to you, in that it's a horribly inhospitable place, but there's some friendly people in there to you. Other than that, the continental areas of Mobod, Dolaton, Pechapa, Obalem Nefiria, those are all squarely the Empire itself. This is the Imperial Core. The area called PND, that's the Prime Navigational District, which is the core of the Empire, like the actual capital city of the Empire. Also, where La Cortesina is located, which is friendly to you, but only that there is friendly to you. Then Denma'a, which is another island kind of area on the southeast, is occupied but not fully integrated into the Empire. There's been talk about them potentially mounting some sort of resistance, but you don't know much about them. So not a lot of places that are friendly to the resistance. Probably, if you're looking to have some sort of staging ground, your best bet would be Haunted Island or Cat Island, with Haunted Island being like by far the easiest, simply because it's occupied by Union, and any sort of like permits or bureaucracy or something can almost certainly be expedited by Ingrid. And, there's a bunch of Union resources there.
I was maybe hoping some stuff may have shown up in one of our friendlier locations.
I mean, some stuff almost certainly landed in Cat Island and Hunted Island, but not any clear mechs or drones. Because, you'll recall, even though there were a bunch of them, there's only so many of them, right? If every stapler is being dropped someplace, statistically speaking, a handful of mechs could have landed anywhere.
So yeah, using Haunted Island as a staging ground for this and finding the highest concentration of stuff in the ocean, the Western Ocean, is where we can start, and looking for any radio signals coming from there that pair with the locations of Snorplek signals.
Yeah, you can put it through and see if you get some sort of ping for that, or rather, basically hand it to the bureaucracy and let them figure out when and how.
Yeah.
Okay. Is Chameleon going to talk to Bisk?
Sure. I'll track Bisk down.
Okay.
Where's he at?
He is at the mess hall.
Okay.
/ whatever else is going on there. Looking at his computer.
Okay. He's looking at his computer, and then all of a sudden it's just like Chameleon appears. Hey, Bisk.
Oh, hey, Chameleon.
Hey, I've got a question for you about NHPs.
Sure.
Have you ever heard of an NHP that cascades so much that their caskets turn inside out and they turn into a wormhole or unleash some reality-altering entity?
There's some theories about something like that. Hey, have a seat.
Have you ever heard of something called an eidolon?
Yeah, that's what. So that theoretically, that is something that can happen. And so there are some reports, although they're not fully corroborated, that things like that can happen. NHPs kind of exist separate from what we would consider certainly our cognition, but things like the rules of physics and stuff like that. They are some of them are able to exert great control over things like that. So if they get out of control, they can turn those abilities into sort of very dangerous situations. And by out of control, I of course mean out of their own sort of cognizance of control.
And are we or the authority weaponizing this?
You mean is Union weaponizing NHPs? Union is in fact weaponizing NHPs. I mean, NHPs are a fact of modern intergalactic or transgalactic warfare.
Uh-huh. But I mean like one that's cascading out of control.
No, because there's no way to control it. You couldn't prevent that from harming your side if you did something like that. And honestly, it's hard to do. It's hard to accomplish that. And an HP would have to be cascading for a long time in order for that to happen. And then other things would have to go wrong in order for that to happen. I mean, Absab was cascading for years, and mostly it just damaged his psyche. It didn't cause him to manifest any of his abilities in any sort of outwardly harmful way, at least not his gravity control abilities.
Mm-hmm. And you were sure about that?
Well,
okay. I mean, he does say some weird things like it's in the pipes and other things.
He does say that sometimes. It's hard to tell, right? There's NHPs that are bound to a casket have pretty close to what we would consider a human subjectivity.
Mm-hmm.
But they are just sort of fundamentally ontologically different from us. So I don't want to ascribe human mental issues to an NHP, but it is close to it just being a form of trauma, the way that humans can develop mental illness or cognitive decline or things like that from trauma. NHPs can develop that too. It's just that the sources of trauma are different, and sometimes the results are different. But I would say for what Avsab went through, he's pretty much a textbook case of what you would expect an NHP to do in a situation like that. So I don't think there's any danger of Avsab using his abilities to manifest something dangerous.
What about the Snorplek? Do you think that's an NHP?
No. Like NHPs have only been around for a couple hundred years, I want to say, maybe more, maybe slightly more. So from what I heard, this thing is like ancient. It's like thousands of years old.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks, Bisk.
Yeah, no problem. Let me know if you have any more questions.
And by the time he turns around to say goodbye, I'm already gone.
Okay. Let me know if you have any more questions. Okay. All right.
Run back to my room, slam the door. Put a little do not disturb sign.
Yeah.
On the handle.
Yep. Chameleon's room. Any transparency would be 22.
Critical Hit is a production of Major Spoilers Entertainment, LLC, and is produced and edited by me, Steven Schleicher. If you have thoughts, questions, comments, ideas, drop us an email at podcast@majorspoilers.com. If you want to discuss Critical Hit with other Critical Hit fans, be sure to join the Major Spoilers Discord. You can join it for free. There's a link in the show notes. Get into that Critical Hit channel. Talk to your heart's content. If you're looking for character sheets, you've got those too. Point your browser to patreon.com/Major Spoilers.
This podcast is copyright 2026 by Major Spoilers Entertainment, LLC.